Hello, my name is Michael Strawn. I'm located in San Jose, California, in the US, and this is my final project for CS50's Introduction to Databases with SQL. For my final project, what I've built here is a golf performance tracker. Essentially, what it does is it's designed to enable users to track their golf scores over time, including which courses they've played and what they scored at those courses, and the makeup of each round in terms of the overall scoring breakdown. So, for example, how many bogeys, birdies, pars were scored during that individual round. So let's take a look at the schema here. You can see that this database consists of really three main tables. The first being users, the second being courses, and finally rounds. Each round, of course, is played by an individual user and takes place at a individual course. The rounds are also able to track the score, both in gross and net, the date that it took place, and the scoring breakdown, like I mentioned earlier. Additionally, I have a trigger here that allows us to do a calculation for the net score based on the gross score that was input with the round and the par for any individual course. So typically par is 72 at most courses. So if you were to score 70, that would be -2 or 2 under as the gross score, as they say. So here in the schema as well, we create an initial batch of users, courses, and rounds. I've used some names here that you might recognize, both for uh, players as well as courses, and then some round data as well. Additionally, there are a couple of indexes to speed up some of those processing and a couple of views here for us to take a look at as well. So let's try and run a couple of those. First, we'll read our schema, and then we'll select all from, let's try all rounds complete. You can see here that it gives us all of the rounds by each individual player that we've input in our batch of rounds up here. And you can see all of the information for those as well. Why don't we take a look also at some of the common queries that you may see. We have one here for a query to add a new user to our database, queries to add a new course, as well as record a round for an individual user. Um, Additionally, a couple of queries here that allow us to take a closer look at some metrics we may be interested in. So let's try one of those. For example, if we wanted to see the average gross scores by players at a particular course, so in this example, Augusta National Golf Club, we could run this query and we can see here that Phil Mickelson average gross 68.75, Tiger Woods 68. And then, of course, here as well, we could also try running a similar query for net scores in a particular calendar year, where you would see that in 2001, they averaged these numbers here. So that is my final project. Thank you very much.